Hello, my name is Gary Seal with the TrueKind Consulting Group. Our topic today is attitudes, and not just simply our inner attitude, but the way our personality displays itself to other people. And you've all been there before. You've seen people that were positive, upbeat, affirming, very straightforward, and it's just fun to be around those folks. They are very attractive. In contrast, somebody kind of mean-spirited, ugly, cynical, sarcastic, it's easy to be back the same way or perhaps even avoid those folks. And so that's the topic today. We want to examine this concept of attitude, conduct, and character, which reminds me of a story I recently read about Abraham Lincoln. He spent the first 21 years of his life on the farm working for his dad. And so realizing that he didn't want to split rails and farm and sow seed and harvest and do all the harsh things that it took to make a living on the frontier, he moved away from the forest of Indiana, where his father lived, out to a community called New Salem on the prairies of Illinois, which was the frontier back then. Not knowing what he really wanted to do or what his talents were, he went to work in a hardware store, actually had to share a cot with another guy and work the counter. Well, Abraham began to get a reputation of being witty, well-read, very honest, straightforward guy. As a matter of fact, he was nominated for postmaster. He got that post. He began to survey some, and people began to trust him even at such an early age. They recommended that he run for the state legislature. He did that, but he didn't win the first time. And during this same time period, he went into partnerships with a man at another hardware store, and where they were selling dry goods, but they also decided to be a tavern. And so as it turned out, his partner had a taste for the products of the tavern. He would drink the whiskey and the wine and the beer, while Abraham had a tendency to read the newspapers and discuss politics with the people who came in. So neither one of them were great shopkeepers. As a matter of fact, they were really not very good at the accounting side of it as well. So Abraham, having an interest in politics and the way things were going in the emerging state, ran for the legislature again and got elected. He served his 2.5 to 3 month term and came home in February of 1835 to find out that his partner had died. The store was out of business and heavily in debt. Matter of fact, the huge sum of $1,100, which was equivalent to about $25,000 in today's money. Well, Abraham, instead of being like his counterparts on the western frontier, who frequently, when they got into debt, would just vanish in the middle of the night, vowed to stay and pay off his debt. As a matter of fact, it took him about 8 or 10 years to do that, but it was pretty painful. They actually took his horse, his gun, his saddle, and his house, and he put those things up for auction. Fortunately for him, a friend of his bought them and gave him back to him. Well, Abraham continued to work hard, pay back his debts, study for law, and develop that reputation of being Honest Abe. As a matter of fact, that's where he got his nickname of Honest Abe, and that stayed with him until the end of his life, all the way up until 1864. Well, if you'd like to hear more about attitudes or some other business topics such as negotiations, leadership, teamwork, or even public speaking, don't hesitate to give me a call, and I'll be glad to visit with you about making a presentation to your group.